Fallout 4 is a open world first person shooter RPG type game made by Bethesda in 2016. It Out of the Fallout series, it's my personal favorite. You know, most people's favorite is New Vegas, or New Vegas, or one of the original ones. But my personal favorite's Fallout. Fallout 4 has messed in everything. Um, like, along the lines of fun, and I think it has a pretty good story. Better than Fallout 3 at least. Not as good as New Vegas, but it's not easy. Or 2, or 1, but it's better than 3. And 76. I have put, I think, like 30 days worth of full gameplay time into it, and yeah, it's 40 days or 30 days well spent. I've done multiple playthroughs with or without mods, and it's just fun. Like, I don't know, like, it's the best Fallout I've ever played gameplay wise, and it's fun. It's a perfectly good first-person shooter with fun aspects. VATS is incredible to use. It's like a dream. It makes aiming so much easier. It's not like Fallout 76 where it's useless. Or, Fallout, and it doesn't completely stop time like Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. But, it has those cool slow motion shots now in, like, perfect resolution. The game looks great, and it has a lot of glitches, but, it's a Bethesda game, it's gonna have a lot of glitches. I personally think it's the Skyrim of the Fallout universe, the best one. Skyrim. I like this game better, but, because it's Fallout. I just love the Fallout. It's a genius thing. It's a perfectly good setting, and it's executed great. The games, most of them have been made by Bethesda. I think, what was it, four of them. Fallout 1, 2, Tactics, and Brotherhood of Steel were all made by, I don't know what the original is, like Raven something. I don't remember, but were made by the original creator. But Fallout 3, New Vegas. New Vegas was worked on by Obsidian, but 4 and 76 were all made by, and Shelter were all made by Bethesda. Though it's the story in some of the games and the gameplay, the story just itself has gone a bit downhill, and it's got a little bit kind of more complicated and less. It depends on how you think of it. But other than that, I think they're better now than they were before, But back to the main subject of Fallout 4. The first subject I'm going to talk about now is one of the most important subjects is the story. The story of Fallout 4 is, spoiler alert, it's all about finding your son. You go into this vault 111, and you go into these cryopods unknowingly, and get frozen for like 260 years. Well, you were frozen for at the 200-year mark of you being frozen. Your son was stolen and taken by this guy named Kellogg, and brought to the Institute, since he was a fresh blood, So he was, all grown up in the Institute. He was an infant, like 1 at most, I'd say. He couldn't even walk. He's probably like 4 or 5 months old. When he was stolen or kidnapped, and now he's like in his 60s. But you get refrozen for what you in the game think was only a little while. It ends up being 60 years. So as you're on this journey, to find your son, you go to Concord. In Concord, you meet the Minutemen, Preston Garvey, or Gravy, as some people call him, and Mama Murphy, and like the Longs, like all the Sturgis, they tell you about the jewel of the Commonwealth, or Diamond City, which is a city that is based in the middle of a baseball stadium. So now your main objective is now to go to Diamond City. So you're going to Diamond City. Depending on the route you take, you're gonna stop along the way. You're gonna find the Brotherhood of Steel, or dance. After finding this emergency distress beacon, it's at the police station. You help them with the ghoul problem. You don't even have to do anything, to be honest. It's, they just have to get rid of all the ghouls. They could do it themselves most of the time. But, yeah. So that opens up a new faction, major faction, the Brotherhood of Steel. One of the most overused factions in all of Fallout. But, the Brotherhood of Steel, look at them the way you want. They're basically the best faction you could side with. You get a free suit of power armor. But, they're not the greatest. It takes a lot of murder to get to them. After finding them, you meet Dance and a few other people. They're not, I forget. But, Brotherhood of Steel is a major faction. You're gonna be seeing a lot of them during the story. After you find them, you finally get to go to Diamond City, which is somewhere around mid-Boston, I would say. It is great. It's one of my favorite locations in recent Fallout games. It's just so fun. I like it better than the Strip, but just because the Strip was a lot of emptiness in Fallout New Vegas, and it's better than most. I think every settlement in Fallout 3. So that's not saying much. They weren't great, but you meet Piper, and then you see Piper trying to get in, who was a news reporter who got kicked out of Diamond City. You could do a few things. You could lie and get yourself in as a caravan guard, or a caravan, or you could just not lie. I don't know, either way you get in. When you open the door, her and the mayor start arguing. Most people would usually be caught into this argument. But, what I learned on with my second playthrough, I just skipped the whole thing. It's not really important. I could care less, to be honest. I don't care about their beef. I'm trying to go, and I'm trying to figure out what I gotta do to find my kid. As you're trying to find the kid, you get some more evidence. You learn about this man named Nick Valentine, who could help you look for your missing child. You go to his detective agency just to find his secretary alone. He's gone missing. He's been kidnapped by a mob-like entity. I don't know. Skinny Malone and his gang. It reminds me of an old, noir type, mob, gang, mafia type thing. And they're in an underground vault. You're sent by the secretary to go and rescue Nick Valentine. As you're rescuing him, you're on your way, you're going through the Boston Metro. You find this underground vault after taking out a few of Skinny's goons, and you get in there. You're wandering, taking out goons upon goons. I personally just use melee weapons. They're not that hard to kill. If you know how to play the game. If you don't, then hide. They have a lot of submachine guns. If you know what you're doing, and this isn't your first rodeo, and what you gotta do is you just gotta go in there with a sword. could pick one up at Huber's Comics. You could get the Grognok Axe, which I used a lot of the game. It was my main melee weapon. And like Fallout 76, where it breaks, you got it forever. It's a legendary weapon. You could get the costume too, but that means you got to go to it later on. And yeah, I would wait, but you could do it. That's what I did on my first playthrough. But as I played, I watched a lot of Oxhorn, and I found out about the costume, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna hit that anymore. But you finally find Nick Valentine. He's being guarded by this guy, this great mob guy. He's a high up in the mob, Dino. He's guarding Nick Valentine, and you gotta take him out. Take him out. He's not the easiest to kill, but he's not the hardest, especially if you're on normal, the easy difficulty. But he could be a challenge if you're on the hard difficulties. Just gotta take him out, shoot him, or hit him. Do what you gotta do. Take him out. Then you get the key off him, or the key code. Then you could get yourself into the overseer's office, which is now changing to the jail cell for Nick Valentine. And you take that. Sorry. You take Nick Valentine, and on your way out, you run into Skinny Malone. Nick Valentine, all along, he's been here to solve another missing person case. He's trying to find someone's daughter. His daughter has ran away with Skinny Malone. There's a couple things you could do. You could get through this battle without fighting anyone. You could, by passing a speech check. It's not the easiest, it's not the hardest, it's a normal speech check. To get the daughter, the girl, to run away from and be over and go back to Diamond City with her father. Or you could do conflict and kill them all, But either way, Skinny Malone, he either dies or tries to come after you. So, yeah, you don't have to kill him, you could. But you run out, you meet Nick Valentine back at Diamond City in his detective agency, and you're on the quest for your son. You find the key. You gotta, you find out this guy named Kellogg is the guy who stole your son. And you go on an expedition to find him. First you get to his house, then you find evidence there, then you go along this huge trail, probably gonna take you 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on how slow you are, and how many things you stop at, and how lucky you are. But, after all that, you get to the Fort Hagen, which you're gonna find Kellogg at. You kill Kellogg, after getting through all the Simpson stuff in the fort, and you get what I do is I take all his body parts off, like his fake brain and stuff, and you and Nick go to a brain scanning agency in Goodfella, which is another pretty cool faction. It's like the Outlaws, which is big and it has at least some rules. And you go to this lady in this one place, and you could scan the brain and go through Kellogg's memories. I'm not even going to touch upon it. It was, it's cool the first time you play it. Since to see the guy who's been trying to kill you. I got bored myself, but it's not bad. After that, you do a bunch of quests, I'm not going to get too much into detail if someone wants to play it, but, you find out, you get into the Institute, depending on the faction you choose. I chose the Brotherhood of Steel, and I chose the Railroad. I never chose the Minutemen. They're the quickest whiteout. Then you could either side with the Institute, which is father, which you end up finding out. This is a big plot point here. Spoiler alert again. 3, 2, 1. He's actually your son from 60 years ago. He's grown up. He's 60 years old, and he's ill. He has cancer. But that's later on. You could either side I don't know, side with whoever you want. Like, I personally think you see what is right, you should side with first. Because your second playthrough, or at least what I did, is you're gonna get a little goofy. You're gonna do some weird things. But, you know, I recommend your first time, don't do that. You just gotta play through it, have, you know, take in the story and take in the joys. I recommend playing first time either on normal or hard mode. Easy. If you really wanted, you would just get the story, but it really takes away a lot of experience. Though, if I ever play again just to have fun between me and you, I play it very easy. I could care less. But unless I'm using mods, then I don't. But that's basic, you know. You end up blowing up either the Pridwin, which is the Brotherhood of Steel thing, the Institute, which, is the Institute. You automatically wipe out the railroad. I'm not even getting into the railroad, man. That's boring. No one likes the railroad. No one sides with it first. I don't know. They're dumb. They're like all about since shouldn't be slaves. I don't care. They were boring. Didn't have that many fun things. They were fetch quests. I didn't enjoy them at all. I did get them to help me. You do need to hang out with them to get your chip decoded. But you know, I'm not gonna say everything in the review unless if someone wants to play it. But my the point is the story was cool. There's a lot of things you got to do for each faction that I didn't even touch on because I don't got enough time. But because this isn't a story now, so it's maybe one day I'll do that. But right now I'm not good enough at YouTube. It's like my first ever speaking video ever. But now I'm gonna go on to my second topic, which is gameplay. It's gonna be quick. I already said it. It's my favorite gameplay-wise Fallout. I think this Fallout 76 does have a lot of potential in its mechanics, but they aren't well. It's not that they aren't well executed. It's an online game. You can't do much with VATS, and VATS is one of the funnest parts. Who doesn't like seeing a ghoul's head get exploded in slow motion? It's gory, it's awesome. Gameplay is the reason I only use melee weapons in most of my gameplays now. It's because, I like to use a sword and watch ghouls' limbs get chopped off. Like, it's just so fun. Watching things in that. I guess it's mostly combat, but you're gonna have fun. You're gonna do side quests. If you don't do side quests, there are special counters. Oh my gosh, man! Don't even get me started on the special counters. Like filling the fridge. Gosh darn, that is a fun special counter. It's just so random, man. Who survives in the fridge? And it's just so clever. You'll either get something serious, heart-wrenching, or you're gonna get something fun. That's it. That's all I'm getting on with the gameplay. Because I don't got enough time. I don't got enough footage to go over. But my last topic, what it's gotta be. One of the biggest things in Fallout 4 that really differentiated it. It did better than Fallout 76. It's not saying much, but most stuff it did. But, on that, I'll say it's what I'm doing on screen right now. It's a creation club. Not really. It is the, what are they called? Settlement building. Settlement building is one of the funnest things in Fallout 4. It is one of my favorite things to do. If you junk, you might get a little bored gathering it, but you know how easy this game gets once you get everything. Like, right now, the way I'm playing with on the screen is a creation club thing. I had to pay for that. Otherwise, I bought the Game of the Year edition, back when it was $60, and I got carried away. I spent it on arcades and security, and I have not figured out how to use the security yet. But yeah, you get to build anything. You gotta be thoughtful though. gotta use power, gotta get people to farm for you. You could have whole settlements, but that should be its own video. I think I'm gonna make it its own video. I hate to say it, but I don't have much time. But, you know, I love it. It's just such a fun game. I had so much fun with Fallout 4. I've played it for 30 days. You know, I'm obviously gonna have fun. But, you know, just the little mini games that they have that are replicas of, you know, they don't have a Galaga. They're not that good. Galaga, you know, being the Galaga and Tetris being the two best arcade games ever. You know, it sucks, but you know, I just love it. It's just such a fun game. And you know, if you don't agree, then you're wrong. But no, I'm kidding. Everyone has their own opinions. There are gonna be people that don't like Fallout 4 because of the story is pretty lackluster and stuff. But you know, I love it. I just really like the game. It's my favorite Fallout, and Fallout's my favorite game series. You know, that's saying a lot. You know, I haven't played as much of it as I've played something like Minecraft, but with what it has, I really make do. But this is that for the video. Please make sure to like, subscribe. I give Fallout an 8.5, or no, a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.
You know what? Since we talked, I'm feeling swell. Look at the two of us here in Sanctuary, prepared for the future.
Mama Murphy's as good as her word, kid. No more cameras.